Welcome to Unchained here on Pahrump News. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Tiffany Whitecloud.
How you doing?
Wonderful. You?
All right, good. Hope everybody else out there is doing good too.
Yes.
All right, well, our top story has to be Judge Michelle Fiore suspended with pay for additional complaints filed against her. This is not a permanent decision, they say, rather a decision for the Nevada Judicial Discipline Commission to assess additional complaints against Fiore. The Nye County Justice of the Peace still represents a substantial threat of serious harm, the state's Judicial Discipline Commission ruled. Fiore responded on her Facebook page stating that she is fighting for her life, while the rules changed to fit their agenda, talking about the commission. She adds that the order reflects a lack of impartiality and a violation of her constitutional rights. She adds that they suspended her in part based on complaints that were never subject to a hearing and never disclosed in any official notice. The commission cited 7 negative emails as part of their justification, she says, without mentioning the overwhelming volume of positive messages of support, which she is confident outnumbered the negative ones by 10 to 1, if not more. She is planning on filing an appeal.
And for her full statement, you can go to Pahrump News Facebook page.
Yeah. And we have a special guest on today.
Yes, Krist Siegmund from Nye County Animal Shelter is here.
Well, we were talking about her last week and having her on here because we started Save a Pet up again, and so that was fantastic. But we get to ask her all those interesting questions, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So when we return, Kristy will be here. Well, look who we are with. It's Krist Siegmund from the Nye County Animal Shelter. So glad you could join us today.
Thank you for having me today.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've wanted to talk to you for, gosh, I think it's been a year or something now. How long have you been there?
Since March of last year. So.
Oh, okay. So I was almost right.
Yes, a little over a year.
There you go. How's it going?
It's going well. We are seeing higher adoptions, which is wonderful. A lot of that is in part due to the Bissell Empty the Shelter events that we participate in. The shelter itself is up and moving and running fast, and always something to do.
You are pretty active with the adoptions, right?
Yes. So we do adoptions, post all of our adoptable pets on 24petconnect.com. We post all of our adoptable pets on social media. We have flyers in some of our businesses. You'll see some in Java Junkies, in Tower Pizza, around town, up in the schools, really showcasing some of our really sweet babies that we have.
And I noticed that you're very active on social media, letting people know about personalities of animals and things like that, letting them know who's in there, which is super important, right?
Yeah, we like to work with the animals, not only from a socialization standpoint, but every animal is going to fit in a home differently. And so if they are not good with cats, if they are not good with other dogs, if this is an animal that is very, very strong in pulls, we can then place that animal in the best home for it and for the human by knowing these information.
I can tell you, I think the biggest cheering that we get is the ones that have been there for a long time that finally get adopted out. And I see all the comments and people are so excited to see that happen because that's a huge deal.
It is. We have some of our animals that have been there for years, plural, years. And we are seeing them slowly start to trickle out, which is amazing. They deserve homes just as every other animal deserves homes, especially our seniors. They're in their twilight years and they really just want a bed to cuddle up in and people to love on them for however long they have left.
There's such a population of people who adopt animals that are senior animals or animals that have special needs, and we're really fortunate to have people like that in our area. How's that going?
Yes, no, one thing I have learned is that not only here in Pahrump, but even up in Tonopah, the community support is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. But we also know that there's limitations, and so we have to reach beyond our community. So we partner with Best Friends, we partner with the NSPCA, we partner with other no-kill organizations, such as ourselves, to help get these animals placed into a home, especially working with the NSPCA. Now you have these animals that are being advertised to 3 million people versus our 40, 50,000 we have here in Nye County. I think a majority of the Animal Foundation's uptick in their animals right now is in the new spay and neuter laws that Clark County has instituted. People can't afford it. It's a really tough financial time for a lot of families, and now we're asking or the regulations, animal regulations, are asking for even more financially. So I think they're starting to see a lot of their increase in animals due to that. You also have Las Vegas being a transient city. And so as people move, as people leave, maybe they can't take their animal with them. And so they end up at the Animal Foundation.
Explain that Clark County law that you're talking about.
So Clark County has instituted a mandatory spay and neuter ordinance, meaning that any animal, I believe it's over the age of 4 months, it could be 6 months, must be spayed and neutered, or you can be cited for it by their Animal Protective Services.
So there's an uptick, but hopefully in the long run might help.
That is always the goal. When you are spaying and neutering your animal, you are helping cease or at least lower the animal crisis that we're currently facing. And if you are a breeder, you know, by having a breeder's permit and doing it responsibly, that doesn't hurt the industry any. It doesn't hurt our animals any, the ones who do it right. It is unfortunately those who have all these oops litters that we keep hearing about.
So if I had a puppy, so what you're saying is if I had a puppy and it was 4 months old, then I would have to go get it fixed.
In Clark County.
In Clark County. Right, not here, but in Clark County.
So they're overwhelmed. I mean, they're constantly talking about overwhelmed. How are you guys doing as far as your population there?
So we are also overwhelmed. We are also about 20% over capacity. This newest or most recent Empty the Shelter event brought us to a more manageable level, but we are still over capacity.
What is the capacity there?
We have 80 dog kennels, and then our cat kennels will vary. So currently right now we have 116 in our shelter.
Wow.
That's just dogs, or is that both?
That is both dogs and cats currently.
116.
Wow. And then is there some being held in protective custody as well? Because some of them are adoptable, some of them are not, right?
Correct. So we do have a handful of animals that are being held in protective custody, both dogs and cats. And protective custody, for those who don't know, it's when their owner passes away, goes to the hospital, is incarcerated. The county offers a service to take in that animal to make sure that it is taken care of during that time, until of which family, friends, or the owner itself, himself, herself, can come back and take care of their animal.
Also, if they're involved in court cases, right? Like any of the neglect or abuse cases that might involve animals.
Yes, we can take an animal or animals in under protective custody during that time as well.
Are you taking in any other animals that aren't dogs and cats?
Sometimes. We just had a turkey, so that was quite fun. We've had a few pigs. We've had chickens. Yes, I mean...
I'm always commenting on the tortoise ones.
Yes, and tortoises too.
Because I'm always like, did they pick it up from the roadway? Oh gosh, I have such a crazy thing with people picking them up from the roadway. Because I don't know if you've seen the tortoise groups. They don't help people adopt out tortoises anymore,
right?
Because they were so overwhelmed by taking them in. So it's kind of like what I call a dating site. You can list that you have a tortoise that is available for adoption, and somebody else can list that they would like to have one, and they can hook up. So they help with that, but there's too many, and so many of them born in captivity, or somebody picked them up from the roadway, and I'm like, you can adopt them. They're so easy to adopt. There's so many ready for adoption.
Yes.
And I'm constantly telling people, if you want a tortoise, please go look, because there's so many available. Yeah.
Yes, and luckily though, when we do get them in, almost immediately we know who the owner is, or the owner reaches out and reclaims them, or we're able to adopt them out fairly quickly.
Mine are microchipped.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. And the tortoise group does that for free as well. Let's talk a little bit about the spay and neuter things that are going on here. Do we have any laws about spay and neuter? And I know that for a certain time you were looking for a vet to get in there for that type of services.
Yeah, so there is a lot in that statement and question you just asked.
I know.
So are there spay and neuter ordinances in our current Nye County Title VI? The answer is no. However, there are limitations to how many unaltered animals you can have. So in our Title VI, it says you can only have 2 unaltered animals. So in a way, that is taking steps towards a spay and neuter program. So if you have 6 dogs or 7 dogs, you were only allowed to have 2 that are unaltered. The rest of them must be sterilized.
Is there an age on that being altered like they have in Clark County?
No.
Like 4 months? Okay.
No.
And I'm gonna say what everybody's gonna say. Well, how are we enforcing that? Because and a lot of people do self-regulate, and they. I remember when people were saying we could only have 5 animals, and people would limit themselves, but some people don't.
Right. And yes, most people do self-regulate. They want to follow the laws. For those who don't, we don't go around and knock on doors and validate or verify, how many animals do you have and are they spayed and neutered? But if we do get a call out to the property, there are things that our animal control officers check for. And when we're on the property, they check for how many animals do you have? Are you within your limitations? Are those animals spayed and neutered? Are you within your limitations?
Yeah.
Do you have rabies certificates? That's not just a Nye County regulation, but that's a state regulation. That's very, very important. So they check for those as well.
Yeah. And it's really important, spay and neuter. I know it's expensive. Is there some programs to help out?
So unfortunately, there are not here in Nye County. The Las Vegas, in Clark County, there is the Las Vegas Spay and Neuter Center. There's Heaven Can Wait. There is a new veterinarian, Dr. Wu, which is affordable surgery. She has been phenomenal, as well as the others, in working with our Pahrump and Nye County citizens to offer a very low-cost spay and neuter. The challenge, of course, is getting to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But you will find that they are able to do very high volume every single day because they have the staff and the ability to do so.
Wow.
And you had mentioned in your earlier question, yes, we are still looking for a veterinarian to come into our animal shelter and help out with not only our shelter animals, but also be able to offer services at a low cost to our community as well.
And I remember when I had the tour there that they have a pretty good office setting. So if you're a vet out there, you get kind of your own little clinic, right? It was built pretty well.
Yes. So a veterinarian can absolutely come in and take over the space. We can have those conversations. Really what is most beneficial is to have a veterinarian contracted to come in on certain days and help the community that way through the shelter as well as our citizens.
So they could still have their own business. They even talked about, originally, Frank Carboni, our county commissioner at the time, was talking about, well, they could operate their own clinic out of here if they wanted to. We're looking for any deal that they can give, right?
Sure. Tales of Nye County, really their TNR program, their spay and neuter program for the cats, the community cats, that was it was a tremendous loss for our town and for our county. The shelter has picked up a piece of that.
Yeah.
We cannot, those are big shoes to fill. But we are offering that service. We are helping out in that manner. As far as veterinarians and who can help, we have a whole list at the shelter. Okay. So you can call any of our team members at the shelter. You can call me and we can help you not only with getting the information for spay and neuter services, but also locations and point you in a direction.
You just had the Bissell event. How many animals got adopted out during that?
Yeah, so we had 42 animals adopted in the Bissell event under the 15 days.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting. That's, we were hoping for 40 and we hit 42.
Wow, fantastic. When's the next one? Or I know sometimes you have other sponsors, right?
We do. We also participate in the NBC's Clear the Shelter event. That always happens in the summertime. They haven't announced dates yet, but it will likely be in July. That's typically when that occurs. Okay. The next Bissell Empty the Shelter event, they haven't announced dates yet, but it's traditionally in the summer as well. They like to do them every 3 months.
Oh, okay. And then how's the staff going there now?
The staff is good, overwhelmed. We are definitely understaffed for the amount of animals that are being cared for. Just to put it in perspective, we typically have 2 kennel techs every single day. Our team is 3, but everybody needs days off.
Sweet.
And so when you're talking about 120 animals, that's 60 animals per person that they are caring for.
I cannot imagine. I have to take care of mine. That's enough.
Yes.
And Tiffany has to take care of her one tortoise that she has.
Yes.
I have 2 tortoises. I have 2. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Yes. My one tortoise got into the other tortoise. They're both girls, but the one got in the other one. I think I did it by accident because I picked up what I thought was Stephanie, and because she always got into Greg's a girl, and got into Greg's habitat. And I couldn't figure it out because I had secured it and she was digging. But I secured it really well. And I think one day I just picked her up and went, Stephanie, what are you doing in here? And then I checked up and I said, there's no way she got in there because they had this really great fencing and I put 12-inch things in the ground and everything. And I have L-shaped fencing on the rest of the habitat. And I was like, I don't know how she got in there. I think I picked up Greg and put Greg.
So you put Greg in Stephanie's?
Yeah.
And Stephanie didn't kill him?
Stephanie was ramming Greg, yes. Yeah, because she is aggressive. She's very, very friendly. They're both very friendly tortoises towards humans, and they like my dogs, but she does not like Greg at all. Yeah,
territorial when it comes to Greg.
She is very territorial. Greg is 50, and Stephanie is 30 to 40, the tortoise group.
I'm so glad you found both of them.
I was very excited about it. I had Eddie come over and tear up my whole entire habitat. It's great. But thanks, Eddie. I was going to ask you, how's animal control going? Because you guys are still heading that up. Is that still going well?
Yes. So animal control, again, small team. And so we have 2 animal control officers every day out patrolling, but keeping in mind that it's not just Pahrump they're patrolling, they are patrolling the entire county.
That is so much.
It is
so much.
It is. We have a huge county for, 2 officers to patrol, but they truly are amazing at what they do. I know that there is feedback that we are getting with the animal control, and I love the feedback. I truly do, because that's the only way that we get better. And I know that there are frustrations out in the community, and I think what a lot of people don't realize is our animal control officers, they do write citations. I know that's a big gripe I see.
Yeah.
But they do write citations. Some days I feel like it's Oprah, right? You get a citation, you get a citation, everybody gets citations. Just nothing really fun under the seat.
Yeah.
No, but we are writing citations, but similar to a parking ticket. Yeah. If you go to the courthouse and you pay your ticket, then you're done. You don't ever really need to see a judge. And so a lot of our tickets, a lot of our citations are that way. And so people don't really know about it. It's not publicized, but they are out there. They are writing those citations. We are reprimanding. Yeah. Something that I would like to see is an escalation of citations, or an escalation of when you do things wrong.
Yeah.
It's a little worse the second time, a little worse the third time.
Yeah.
We don't have that right now, but that will be a change in the law, and of course that takes time. But that is something that I would like to see as well, because we do have people that, they wait for the citation and they say, well, okay, where's my citation? I'm just going to go down and pay it.
Yeah.
Because they just don't care.
Yeah, and that is a big concern because we're such an animal community, but we do have people out there that aren't taking care of their business. And there's been so many groups that have come forward to try to help people, and the whole thing is that it gets to a point where you're like, okay, you got to help yourself or get them spayed and neutered, stop having so many other animals.
Yes.
I mean, you want them to kind of, take hold of their own life and their animals and do the best that they can for them.
Well, I always say that there's 3 reasons that an animal, a dog specifically, will go running at large. They are looking for happiness. They're looking for something that's going to make them feel good. They're looking for food. They're hungry. It's just kind of your 3 H's. They're looking for food. And then the third one is hormones. Yeah. When they're unspayed and unneutered, they get a whiff and off they go.
And then they're running out there.
Yep.
Or your son accidentally leaves the gate open.
Yeah, or that too. But having your animal...
Tiffany says, she's like, oh, you didn't say that, did you?
But having your animals spayed and neutered helps that, because then the hormones aren't there.
Yeah.
Making sure that your animals have food and water, which is a regulation, that will help that hunger piece of it. And making sure that you are giving back to your animals and showing them love, that will help with the happiness. So if you cover the happiness, you cover the hunger, you cover the hormones, you are likely not going to have an animal that's going to run at large.
This is 100% solvable.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that is the whole thing, is that all these issues with the animals, we can solve.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. If we all just do our part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something that animal control focuses on. I've asked them to focus on is the education piece. Citations, I mean,
education is huge.
Yes.
It's huge. I can tell you from just my own experience, I use myself as kind of a guinea pig in all these stories. Is when I was younger, I didn't have all of the information that I have. And if I would have learned some of the information, it would have clicked, oh, okay, I mean, sometimes your fencing isn't adequate, and, there's certain things that you need to do, and that certain step, maybe something was nagging you in the back of your mind going, maybe I should get that fixed. Well, yeah, you got to take that step and do that. Or, your dog can get impregnated, even if you have them in your, yard. Other dogs can come in,
right.
Yeah. There's certain information that people, they don't know. Education is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys do microchipping?
Yes.
Do microchipping?
Yeah. So we don't do microchipping for the community. We are not. You have to go to a licensed veterinarian or a licensed. What's called an LVT, a licensed veterinarian technician, to do the microchipping. But our shelter is required per law to make sure that every animal that leaves as adopted is microchipped. And the beauty about microchips, they are an electronic license, an electronic registration, so they can prove ownership. And if the unfortunate event occurs that your animal gets out and they are microchipped, it increases almost 80% the return of your animal to the rightful owner when they're microchipped.
Okay.
I want to ask about microchipping really quick. I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. Is a lot of people think microchipping is also a GPS. It's not. There is those little tags at Walmart now, which I even put on my page because they're $35. And so you get a little tag with your dog's name and address, but it actually does have a GPS. And I put it on my newer dog, because I wanted to make sure that because he's a Shiba Inu, that's why. And so everybody knows about Shiba Inus. They escape very easily, or want to escape very easily. But I put that tag on him, and on your phone, you can find out where he's at all the time. He doesn't go anywhere, by the way. But if he did, I would know where he's at.
That's kind of like those watches I got my kids.
See, there you go.
Yeah. But yes, microchips are not GPSs.
They should though, right?
They are just an electronic registration. It's your electronic license and proof of ownership.
But it's great to have them 100%.
I think that it should be mandatory that there are microchips on every single animal.
100%.
It absolutely and children. It absolutely helps reunite that animal back to its owner. And those air tags and those GPS tags, like you were saying, those are fabulous, because even if they're outside of the jurisdiction or the kind of where that tag is fenced, we can still scan that tag and know who the owner of the tag is and be able to contact you just like we would a microchip.
Exactly. Yeah, fantastic.
So what would be some important information for people during the summer to help take care of their animals?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. We are starting to get hot, so do not put your animals in the car or leave your animals in the car unattended, even if you're just running in the store for 5 minutes. You have to remember that that vehicle is so much hotter than it actually is outside. And it only takes minutes for that animal to then start to become overheated. So definitely leave your animal out of the vehicle. If you are running into the store somewhere, extra water. You're going to start to notice that animals are going to begin to drink extra water. And that is because as the temperature rises, they need that water to stay hydrated. Keeping it clean. You're going to notice a lot of animals will want to start to play in their water, and that's because they want to cool down. So making sure that they have ample amounts of clean water.
And dogs don't sweat, correct?
They will sweat a little bit through their paws. When they pant, that's how they help control their body temperature. But yes, they run much hotter as far as their standing body temperature than humans do. So they need to definitely have the ability to have water and have the ability to be in shade, have the ability to be temperature controlled if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a huge concern. And I got to tell you, the sheriff's department, they do not hesitate about breaking those windows for those animals. I've seen it so many times, and they will break your car window and get your dog out,
Yeah.
And so definitely just leave your animals at home.
Right.
In a nice, cool area with some air conditioning.
Yes. And as summer heats up as well, and we start to get these summer winds, the poof dirt, that contains a lot of viruses.
Oh.
So getting your animals vaccinated with their annual boosters, that's your parvo booster especially.
Yeah, that's huge. When it's so sad when you have something that is preventable, and like these animals that get parvo, and they miss the early days of getting them vaccinated, and you see these puppies, and it's just heartbreaking.
No, absolutely. Something that we do at the shelter, we make sure that all of the animals have their boosters for DAP, which is your distemper and your parvovirus, a few other things. We make sure that they have their rabies shots. We make sure that they are dewormed. We make sure that we are running blood work if there's anything that seems kind of funky going on. We want to make sure that the health of these animals stay healthy.
Which vaccines are annual?
So that is for dogs, that is your DAP, that's your distemper parvovirus. So that is annual. Bordetella is really important. A lot of people know that as the kennel cough vaccine. So if you are bringing your dog to the dog park, or if you are bringing it out on walks where there's other animals, if you have a lot of other animals come over, play dates, Bordetella is going to be really important. That's going to be your upper respiratory protection. Rabies. Rabies is an annual vaccine until you have at least one round, and it is a current round. Then your veterinarian can do a 3-year, which is very nice. So you don't have to worry about going back. But that is a state and federal required vaccine.
Can you explain what one round is?
Sure. One round is a singular vaccination.
Okay.
Yes. And your DAP, and you can buy that, your 5-in-1, your 9-in-1, even at Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
So you can administer it yourself. You don't have to go to a veterinarian for that. Your rabies, you do. Rabies can only be administered by a licensed veterinarian.
My groomer gives them the annual vaccinations, and then I take my dogs to go get their rabies shots at the vet, like you said, and I provide the vet with all of the vaccination paperwork. They use usually the labels off of the containers to show that they had it done. But yeah, they require Bordetella, Bordetella for the grooming because of that. And so my groomer won't let you even go get your dog groomed unless it's done.
Yeah, because dogs get upper respiratory just as humans do.
Yeah.
And when they cough, they can't cover their mouths.
Exactly.
So, then they're spreading it everywhere else.
There you go. All right. So tell me about what the next events are, and people should keep an eye, and how to contact the Nye County Animal Shelter, hours of operation, where you located, all that jazz.
All right. So we don't have event dates yet for another Bissell or Clear the Shelter, but it will be coming in June or July. So keep your eyes posted. We'll have it all over social media. We'll have press releases sent out as well. But you can anticipate probably in the next 45 days is going to be our guess that we'll have something going on. Contacting the Nye County Animal Shelter, we are located at 1580 East Erie. That is across the street from the assessor treasurer's office, kind of behind the courthouse. Contacting us, 775-751-7020. So that is the shelter number. I will also provide or say that the animal control has a separate number, and that is 775-751-6315. And why that is so important. After hours, our animal control officers are on shift until between 5 and 6 o'clock every single day. After hours, if you call the shelter line, then you are leaving a message on our shelter phone. If you call the animal control line, that voicemail will get pushed to our animal control officers' emails. And if it is an emergency situation, fire, police, an attack of some kind, our animal control officers will respond.
They're so good at responding, I got to tell you. because I've left messages for them before, and we have a fly in here. I've left messages for them before, and they check their messages and get back in touch with you. We appreciate all the staff and the animal control officers and everything you guys do, because it's a lot of work. I know that, and managing all of that. Get your animals spayed, neutered, and vaccinations and all that jazz. And the Bissell event is going to be like, I think it's like $20 for adoption.
Yes.
So that's really great. But if you can go get an animal now, please do, because they're overwhelmed. All right. Thanks so much for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Right, bye-bye.
Let's meet the contestants of the 2025 Miss Senior Golden Years USA pageant.
Hi, I'm Debbie Forrest. I am Miss Senior Golden Years 2024. I'm here because our pageant is coming up on June 7th, 2025 at the Saddle West. We have our contestants here this evening, and I'm here to make sure that you get introduced to them.
Hi, I'm Diane Sauter. I'm contestant number 1 for the Miss Senior Golden Years USA. We are having it on June 7th at the Saddle West Casino Hotel. It starts at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you there. My platform is I am looking forward to working with the children on getting them IDs and teaching them the criteria of what human traffickers are looking for. I'm concerned about the kids, and I want to educate the children and the parents. I'm hoping that I will see you there on June 7th. I'm contestant number 1. Thank you.
Hi, I'm contestant number 3 for the Miss Senior Golden Years pageant, which is happening June 7th at 7 p.m. at the Saddle West Hotel and Casino. My platform is teaching pantomime to the middle schoolers and having them learn how to write their story, direct it, and have a voice through pantomime.
Hello, my name is Mercedes Kennedy. I'm the contestant number 4 for Miss Senior Golden Years 2025. My platform is I would do community service with regards to the first-time home buyers. So I'm really excited that I'm going to able to help the community to understand this kind of concept and learn how to first-time home buyers own their own home. So I'm also excited that this Miss Senior Golden Years is a fun thing to do, and I hope for you to see us on June 7 at 7 p.m. at Saddle West. Thank you.
Carolyn Buckley. I'm contestant number 5 in Miss Senior Golden Years, and my platform is the veterans. I want to do the Fisher House and anything I can do to help the veterans, and it will be on June 7th at 7 p.m. at Saddle West. Hope to see you there, and I'm having a great time with all the help and the contestants that I'm working with. Thank you.
Here is today's Save a Pet with Red and Krist Siegmund.
Hello, my name is Krist Siegmund, Manager of Animal Services for Nye County. I'm here today with Red. Red is one of our animals that are available for adoption. Red is a Doberman mix. Just like the rest of our adoptable animals, they are fully vetted. So they are spayed and neutered, up to date on all their vaccines, their rabies, they're microchipped. So Red is such a good boy. He came to us as a stray like all of our animals do. Nobody came to claim him, so we got him vetted and we have been working with him. He knows sit. He is really good with other dogs, really great with cats and humans. He just wants a home. He's about 1.5 years old, maybe 2 years old, and he has so much life to live and just wants a family to be able to enjoy it with him. So if you'd like to come and see Red, we are located at 1580 East Seary. We are open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, we are available by appointment. You can also visit 24petconnect.com. That is our website that we have all of our adoptable animals on, so that you can see all of the animals that we have currently available for adoption. We have over 60 dogs right now and about 10 cats. So definitely come down and check out Red and all the other animals that we have available.
Oh, so nice to see Christy today. We got so much information about the Nye County Animal Shelter, and we love her Save a Pet segment as well. Christy informs us that Red, that dog that you just saw there on Save a Pet, has been adopted. But there are 84 dogs available now at the Nye County Animal Shelter up for adoption. If you want to adopt a pet, or if you've lost a pet, or if you found a pet, please go to 24petconnect.com. .com, and you can find out all of the information about how to post them and if your animal's there. And definitely if you find an animal, make sure to contact the shelter and put them on 24 Pet Connect as well.
That wraps up this edition of Unchained on Pahrump News. I'm Tiffany Whitecloud.
And I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Good night.